Hello my dear friends, welcome back to Fly with Physics and it's me Adira. So today we are going to study electric fields due to continuous charge distribution. So let's begin the class. Continuous charge distributions. So there are two types of charge distributions that are uniform charge distribution and non-uniform charge distribution. So what is uniform charge distribution? When charge is not accumulated in some part but as spread uniformly, that is called uniform charge distribution. That means if you have a body like this and charge is uniformly spreaded throughout this body, there is no accumulation of charges, that is known as uniform charge distribution. Whereas in non-uniform charge distribution, charge is distributed non-uniformly throughout the volume. That means charges is accumulated in some part of the body. So for example, if you have a body like this and in non-uniform charge distribution, the charges will be accumulated in some part and other part don't have charges. So these types of charge distribution is known as non-uniform charge distribution. So here we are mainly going to study about uniform charge distribution. What happens when charges are uniformly distributed in a body? Okay. So electric field due to continuous charge distribution. First we are going to talk about for linear continuous charge distribution, which is denoted by lambda. So what do you mean by linear charge distribution? Linear charge distribution is charge per unit length. So let's consider a conducting wire and we are uniformly distributing charges in this conducting wire. Positive charges uniformly distributed like this. Okay, and amount of charge present, total amount of charge present in this conducting wire is considered as Q. Q is the total amount of charge present in this. Now consider a point P outside this wire. Okay, here we are considering a point P. So now we should find the electric field at the point P due to the continuous distribution of the charges in this wire. Okay, so how can we find it? In last class we have given an expression for electric field, that is equal to E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. Instead of 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, I am writing it as K because it is easy to write. K Q by R square, right? Okay, but in last class I have told you this Q here is point charge, but here we have uniform distribution of charge. So we can't consider this as whole as a point charge because there are many charges present in this conducting wire. So how can we consider it as a point charge, right? So how can we do this? Okay, now we are considering this length of the wire as L. Okay, this is the length, length of the wire is L. And we are considering a small length in this wire, that is small element, length element. So this is the place we are considering. Okay, small element of length, and we are considering it as DL. The length of this element is DL. So why are we taking it as DL? This is actually differentiation. I know you haven't studied about integration and differentiation till now. So I'll give you an example. Consider that there is a cake in your house. Your father bought you a cake in your birthday. So what will you do? There are 4 to 5 members in your family. So you will cut this cake into small pieces and share with everyone, right? So cutting a whole thing into small part is known as differentiation. This cake was whole thing and you cut into small parts to share with your friends. That is differentiation. And what is integration? Integration is just the inverse of differentiation. For example, you have small pieces of cake. I'm not that good at drawing, okay? You have small pieces of cake and you are joining these pieces of cake into a big cake. Okay, small pieces of cake are joined together to make a big cake. So this is integration. Small pieces joined together to make a big thing is integration, and cutting of big things into small pieces is known as differentiation. So that is a simple example for integration and differentiation. It's just an example, okay, to understand the concept of integration and differentiation. So here this conducting wire has a length L and we are cutting this whole conducting wire length L into small pieces of length dl. Okay, and we are considering that the total charge present in this dl length is dq. So we got the dq. Okay, and the distance between this small length and the point P is r. So we have got this all equation. Now we can consider this dq as a point charge and apply this in the equation. But we should consider that since it is a small length element dl and dq is a charge present in it, the electric field experienced at point P due to the small length element dl is equal to dE. So we are considering it as dE. So dE is equal to, tell me, put in the equation, K, instead of Q it will be dQ. dQ by, the distance is r square. Okay, we have got it. Now, what is linear charge distribution? Linear charge distribution is charge per unit length. So, linear charge distribution we are denoting it as lambda. So, we can write it as lambda is equal to, here, what is our total charge? dQ. dQ, charge per unit length, it is dl. dQ by dl. So this is our equation for our linear charge distribution. That is charge per unit length. Here our charge in this unit length is dQ per unit length, that is dl. Okay. Now from this equation we can write the expression for dQ, right? dQ is equal to lambda dl. I think everyone understood this. dQ is equal to lambda dl. Now apply this in this equation. Apply this. So dE is equal to K dQ lambda dl. Lambda dl by r square. So dE is equal to K lambda dl by r square. Now we have got the electric field at P due to the small element dl, right? But we need to find the electric field at P due to this whole charge distribution. So what we will do? We need to do the integration. So by doing integration, we will get it as E. When we do integration of dE, we will get dE. E is equal to K. Since K is constant, it will come out of the integration. K integral of lambda dl by r square. Okay. And this lambda is also constant. So we can take this lambda also out. So the final answer I will write it here. Okay. The final answer is E is equal to, that means electric field is equal to K lambda. Since lambda is a constant, uniform distribution, so it's a constant, K lambda integral of dl by r square. So this is the electric field experienced at point P due to our linear charge distribution. And lambda is equal to dQ by dl. So next is our surface charge distribution. Surface charge distribution is charge per unit area. So surface charge distribution, charge per unit area. Sigma is equal to, if charge is Q, Q by, and area is considered as S, so Q by S. Sigma is equal to Q by S. This is the equation we will get from the definition. Sigma is equal to Q by S. Now let's find the electric field at the point P due to surface charge distribution. This is same as the way that we do our linear charge distribution. So let's try to do it. So let's consider a surface and charge is uniformly distributed here. So this is possible. And the total charge inside this surface is, always we are taking it as Q. Now here we are taking a small surface element, small surface area. Okay, this is our small surface area and this is my ds. And the amount of charge present in this area is small charge dq. Yeah. Now consider a point P. We should find the electric field at P due to this wall surface. Sorry. So for that we have already considered a small surface area with area ds and charge inside it is dq. And the distance between this is always r. Okay. Now we have got this. And electric field at point P due to the small surface area is dE. So we can write the equation. D is equal to, come on, write with me. D is equal to K, K dQ by R square. So here what will be the surface charge distribution? Sigma is equal to, here in the small area it is, our charge is dQ. Charge per unit area is ds. dQ by ds. And from this we get dQ is equal to sigma ds. Right? Now apply this in here. So we will get dE is equal to, come on, tell me, K sigma ds by r square. So we have got the electric field at point P due to the small element, area element, right? Okay, now the question is how to find the total electric field experienced at point P due to this whole surface area, right? So what should we do? We should integrate it. When we integrate, we will get dE as E is equal to, K is constant, so we take it out. Only variables come inside the integral. And sigma is constant here, so we again take the sigma out. Integral of ds by r square. If we are representing it in vector form, we should give a direction also, that is r cap. So yeah, our derivation is completed. So we can write it with a red pen. Is equal to, since K is constant, we can take it out. Here we are considering sigma is constant, so sigma is out. Integral is equal to K sigma integral of ds by r square, where K is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. Don't forget that. So this is an expression for electric field at a point P due to our surface charge distribution. Okay. Now there is one more charge distribution, that is volume charge distribution. Try to do it yourself. Then play the video and look if it's correct or not. Okay. So volume charge distribution, it is represented by rho, and volume charge distribution is charge per unit volume. So we can write rho is equal to charge, if we are considering charge as Q by unit volume V. Wow. Simple, right? Q by V. Now we should find the electric field due to the volume charge distribution at a point. So for that, let's consider a surface and consider a volume element, since volume is a 3D, right? Volume. So this is our volume element and it has a volume dV, and charge inside this small volume element is of course dQ. And we are considering a point P here. Wow. And distance from this volume element to the P is R. And electric field at P due to our small volume element is dE. So write the equation. dE is equal to, it's simple, right? Nothing much. dE is equal to K dQ by R square. Rho is equal to, the volume charge distribution in the small volume element is charge per unit volume. So here charge is our dQ. dQ by volume, unit volume dV. Right. Now we can write dQ is equal to, from this equation we can write dQ is equal to rho dV. Wow, we got this. Now let's apply this in this equation. So we will get dE is equal to, what will we get? K rho dV by R square. Okay. So this is electric field due to our small volume element dV at point P. Now we should find the electric field at point P due to this whole surface, right? So we should integrate it. So by integrating we will get E is equal to, K comes out, rho comes out, dV by R square. If it's in vector form, we should put it as R cap here. So let's write it with our red pen. Yeah, E is equal to, the last slide, that since area is a 2 dimension, we should put double integration. Here volume is 3 dimension, so we need triple integration. But I'm not confusing you guys with all triple and double integration, so I'm just putting an integration. But keep in mind that since it is a 3 dimension, you need triple integration. Okay. K rho integral of dV by R square. And R cap. So this is the electric field, total electric field experienced at point P due to our volume charge distribution. So we have got all 3 equations, right? For linear charge distribution, it is E is equal to K lambda integral of dl by R square. For surface charge distribution, it is E is equal to K sigma integral of ds by R square. And for volume charge distribution, it is E is equal to K rho integral of dV by R square. And R cap is to denote the direction. So that's all for today. In next class, we will be discussing in more detail about the continuous charge distribution, and we will be discussing some of the examples of this, which is really important for the students focusing in entrance exams. So see you in the next class. Till then, stay safe, stay happy and study well. Bye.